What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Texture Pop podcast. Although it's kind of silly to put those words together, but whatever. I am your...
Texture Popcast.
I am your somewhat ill stand-in, starting this up, Chris Acharya. And if I sound like shit, it's because I feel like shit, as I've come down with a cold over this weekend. Yeah, so... You know what's really going to suck about this? I can't mute my microphone now.
The worst part is that even though they call it cold, you would actually feel very warm because you have a lot of high body temperature.
Yes. Well, I don't think my temperature is like super high up there as you normally... Because I've had some colds that just fucking wreck you. Whereas this one...
Oh, I know those. We all know those.
Like, every part of you does not want to work. To where, for some reason, you're just sore. Like those are the worst. Like, fortunately, this has just
Actually, I take that back. Never actually had one that bad before.
Oh, I have. They suck. Fortunately for me, this is just runny-ass nose and somewhat of a sore throat and cough, so... And
my advice to you, my friend, would be to get some petroleum jelly and rub it on your nose to keep it from getting dry.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that. I've also got Brandon with me.
Hi guys, my friend is sick.
Unfortunately, we're the only two here right now because Sam is still at work, as well as Garret, who...
And Garret is busy, but he should be here.
Yeah.
At some point.
This has just not been a good week to get this podcast going, has it? It's just...
Yeah, because I've had things to do, and Chris has been sick as fuck, and Sam and Garret have been super busy themselves.
On top of that, I think we also, we do kind of need to explain the fact that we did not have a podcast last week, despite the fact that we all did get
We did at one point.
Yeah, Sam unfortunately had technical difficulties on his end, which kind of...
And recording was lost.
Not only...
You know what it is.
Yeah, not only was his recording lost, he fucking lost his save file for Dark Souls 2 again. Again! Like, oh god, like as many hours he's put into that game.
You think he would learn after the first time.
Yeah, all I can say is, folks, be careful if you're messing around with your desktop themes in Windows 8, because holy shit.
Also, use an external hard drive.
Yes. Oh man, and
they exist for a very important reason.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and also because of the fact that I'm doing this recording, I can't read whatever any listener questions that may have gotten sent in, because Sam is the one with the account.
Only Sam has that account.
Yeah, Sam's the only one.
So if there are viewer questions, that's not our problem.
This is what happened when one dude runs everything.
Yeah, it's almost as if not segmenting this into multiple people getting multiple responsibilities is a bad idea.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. But whatever.
We should consider talking about that at some point as well. But that is for a different time.
So, I mean, and it's been a kind of slow week. Nothing's really been going on. Although, something we did, talk about last week when it wasn't considered old news was Microsoft bought Minecraft for like $2 billion.
Yes, $2 billion.
Yeah, holy shit. And probably the weirdest thing to come out of that was the fact that now that Microsoft owns Minecraft, you still get Minecraft that on PS4 and PS3, but now Microsoft actually gets a chunk of the money from like every sale.
And PS4 as well.
I did say that.
Oh, I thought you said PS3.
PS4 and PS3.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, because they have the PlayStation editions of that out. Not on Vita, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think Vita would honestly be able to run it. So
you'd be surprised what the machine can run.
It probably could. Who knows? I still remember them talking about how, like, oh yeah, Hideo Kojima, he got MGS4 to run on a Vita, like back when that story came out. But whatever. I know some thoughts we had given on it was that I know, because not only did Minecraft get bought, but Notch decided he left Mojang, as it's pronounced, Some people say Mojang or whatever. I call it Mojang, but which I don't blame him for.
Me neither.
No, some people, kind of got upset, and they were like, "Oh no, why would he leave?" And it's like, why wouldn't he?
Because if I was given $2 billion, I'd take it myself.
Yeah.
I mean, and he has his own personal reasons on top of the obvious financial incentive, but
well, not only
I would not blame him.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but this is something that you're seeing with even developers that were really big, like Ken Levine and Peter Molyneux. Yeah, they all wanted to get out of the main AAA industry to go small. And Notch himself, he's never really wanted to be in the spotlight. He's gone on record to say that himself.
He doesn't like leading a company, which is completely fair. That's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah, and he has kind of said that he wanted to leave sooner, but people there had kind of said that they wanted him to stick around because he's considered part of the culture of the company, which is very true. But hey, now everybody's got enough money to where he can leave that company in good hands and feel comfortable that they aren't going to just fall apart without him.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Plus, they have Plus, I'm sure Microsoft is not going to let them just fall like they would with Rare.
No, or Bungie. Well, I can't say Bungie because Bungie fucking split. But
well, Bungie failed after they left Microsoft.
No. I'm not talking about Destiny again. Fuck you.
No, we're not.
Nope.
But I'm just saying.
Destiny goes
Randy
up there.
Carey's just saying.
Destiny goes on our list of things we don't talk about, along with David Cage. We just refuse to bring up.
And the obvious witch in politics.
Yes, so unless one of us buys the game and actually plays it, so we'll make that exception.
I played the beta.
No, I'm talking about, like I said, buys the game and actually plays it.
That's not happening.
So there you go. That's going to be the exception. So, other than that, I don't think anything else really happened, though.
True story, I have considered getting the Destiny bundle of the PS4, if only just to get the white PS4. Just because it's white.
I don't know if that is a good idea. Because,
it's not. It's a terrible idea.
I mean, I guess you could almost think of it of, I am buying this white PS4, and I get this stupid game with it free, I guess.
Yeah.
Depending on how you look at the pricing of what those things cost by themselves and compared to the price of the bundle.
Yeah.
It's just too bad, you have to have Destiny with it. It's not like, it's not like the episode of Family Guy where, Peter Griffin goes to a video store and this guy's like, oh, here's a free copy of What Dreams May Come. He's like, I do not want it. It's free. I don't want it. It's like, it's free. If that touches my DVD, I will kill you.
That's like if a Blu-ray player was a great Blu-ray player, but it came with Twilight.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Oh, man. So, I guess to kick things off and to just get right to it. So, Brandon, how has your last couple of weeks been?
I have been playing a lot of Digital Devil Saga 2 and pretty much just that for this week.
Huh?
And it's a really fun game. I'm almost at the end of it, and I'm really enjoying myself.
I think by this point you're pretty much figuring out all of the crazy shit that is going on behind the scenes in this world and some of the explanations.
Well, I mean, if you want me to spoil where I'm at, I can. I mean, I'm at the part where, spoilers, the protagonist and his girlfriend have fused together.
Holy shit. Yeah.
And now they're one character.
Wow. Holy crap. So
this is the thing that happened.
Now neither of them get to talk.
Well, she, the female protagonist, is the one that gets... Since she has spoken lines in the game, she's the one that has the voice of the protagonist now.
Huh. Okay.
And it's weird because I'm in the sun and I'm about to go and fight God.
Yep. I totally know why
Shin
that.
Megami Tensei games have a weird thing where the final boss is almost always God.
Not intentionally. I mean, you look like even Persona 4 when like you got all the way to like the true final boss, like
The goddess Izanami.
yeah. So
Spoiler.
yeah, there's like there's always been like a weird thing of like religion and deities and referential stuff to like mythology and everything within all those games. But I guess the same could be said about a lot of JRPGs.
Yeah.
Fucking Final Fantasy and Bahamut and Shiva. If like you look all that shit up, it all comes from somewhere.
Oh yeah. Although if you actually look those up, you'll find that the actual like deities are like nothing like the summons in the in those games.
Probably not. No.
But yeah, as for Digital Devil Saga 2, it's pretty easy actually. Like this game is known for being fairly hard, and I'm not entirely sure why. Because there's a skill you can get that's not too hard to get. That's called Chakra Walk, which restores your MP as you move about the dungeons.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning this.
It was a skill in the first one as well, and it's why the first one became too easy because I never ran out of MP. I could cast spells with impunity and always almost be fully tapped out.
Nice.
But the actual combat is pretty interesting because the way it works is that you, the player, are given 1 turn per party member that's still left standing. So if you have 3 party members, you have 3 turns to start off with. If you exploit an enemy's weakness, you lose half a turn instead of a full turn. But if the enemy dodges the attack or is shielded by their elemental strengths, then you lose 2 turns if you took for that attack. If the enemy repels or absorbs your attack, you lose your entire round.
Damn.
But the enemies are also bound to these same rules. So if you reflect or drain an enemy's attack, they lose their turn as well. Which kind of it's a game of kind of cat and mouse to try to figure out each other's weaknesses and exploit them to their fullest before you get exploited and lose all of your turns. Essentially,
there's usually always somebody that's going to have like a scan ability of some type to examine enemies with. So
one of your earliest party members gets analyzed as one of their first magic spells.
Yep.
But there's also an item you can buy for 5,000 gold that is an unlimited use analyze.
Jesus.
So, you usually it's one of the first things you buy from the store because you use money to pay for new abilities and for items. So you don't shop for items very often because that takes away from the resources you use to buy new abilities.
Yeah. So it's got, well, if you're smart, that's what you would do, because there's a good number of RPGs where you're just an idiot and it's like, I'm going to buy this because it seems cool,
yeah,
and then it bites you in the ass. But for somebody who plays a lot of RPGs and it's like, yep, this is totally what I want. Now I've made this. Now this game's totally broken.
And the funny thing is that all the characters have their own elemental strengths and weaknesses themselves because I told you in the Digital Devil Saga 1, they all turn to demons, and that's kind of like the big gist, that they all have one demon form. But they can learn any skill. The Mantra Grid is the same for all of the party. So you think someone who's strong against ice and weak against fire would learn ice spells, but it's actually smarter to teach them fire moves, because the fire moves come with extra skills, passive skills that can absorb, repel, or resist fire. So you want to teach your ice guy that so that they are no longer weak to fire, essentially.
It almost sounds as if you got the appropriate skills for whatever party members, you could probably have these, because I think you only have like 3 dudes on battle at a time. Yeah,
you can only have 3 people at a time, and you can swap out at the cost of one of your turns.
Okay. Yeah, but it almost seems as if, like, if you level them up right, you could have the same 3 dudes in a battle every single time without having to swap.
You have almost no incentive to switch up your party.
Probably.
Honestly, you really don't. Aside from the fact that towards the end of the game kind of does the party shifts and all that, you really don't have an incentive to just not keep with the same 3 people the entire game.
No. If you level them up right, you could just have them. I've seen
Pretty much.
I've seen games like runs of Chrono Trigger where they'll do that. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep using Chrono, Frog, and Robot because why not?
Yeah, you honestly have no incentive to change party. In fact, you have a disincentive because unless you have the right skills, the people who you aren't fighting with don't gain experience points.
Not as much, no.
So unless you give them the skill that gives them the same amount of XP that your party members who participate in battle do, you're not going to use them anyway because they're going to be at level 50 and they're level 15. Why would you even bother with your time? Well, admittedly, that skill to teach them, to give them the same experience, is fairly. You can get that fairly on. It's fairly cheap.
Huh.
So
that doesn't sound bad.
There's no reason not to teach your party members that, just so they can keep up in case you do need them later on. And you will, because the game does switch up party members a lot towards the end.
Yeah, because that's always the thing in like some games where you're forced to play with some characters, like, and then you're like, oh shit, I never.
It's like the infamous scene in Final Fantasy X where you're forced to use Kimahri for one fight,
yeah,
and then you'll never use him ever again because you've never used him before.
Like for whatever bullshit story reasons that the game wants you to use a certain character, and you're like, fuck, I never invested any time with them.
So yeah, that mutual experience skill, although experience is called karma in this game, is really helpful just so you don't have that situation happen to you to the degree of which it could happen. Because because even though they don't gain experience, they still gain skill points which they can use to unlock skills.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the way it works is you don't buy the skills directly, you buy what's called a mantra. And a mantra has a set of skills attached to it. When you master that mantra, you get all the skills learned on that character. Higher level mantras cost more to purchase, and when you master a mantra, all the mantra on the grid around it are unlocked for you to purchase for that character.
Right. So aside from like mechanics and everything, because these were PlayStation 2 games originally, like
yes.
I'm curious what you think, because you've obviously played a good number of modern JRPGs and the like. I'm wondering what you think of like the look of this game is like, because I hear from what I remember, this game doesn't look too bad, even by today's standards. I mean, because this was something of a late-generation PS2 game.
Yes, it is, and it holds up fairly well, even though it was released around 2005.
Yeah, because the biggest thing with Shin Megami Tensei games is they really go more towards a style than anything realistic at all.
Yeah.
And the style holds up fairly well. It's...
It does hold off very, very well in terms of graphical style, because like you were saying, Atlus has never tried to be realistic, and they're probably never going to try to be realistic at any point. So that's not their art style. Their art style is anime.
But even by today's standards, like PS2 game, which is probably like so many years old, still pretty to look at.
It is very noticeably a PS2 game, but as a PS2 game that is not painful for the eyes. It's very nice on the eyes.
Yeah.
But you're obviously going to notice the difference in graphical quality immediately, but it still holds up fairly well.
One of the things I remember about owning these games back in the day was, I remember they had kind of come with a soundtrack, and I think the soundtrack had some really notable stuff. I didn't spend enough time with it, but...
Both DDS 1 and 2 have amazing soundtracks. I YouTubed it, I downloaded the MP3s of it as soon as I had the chance, and I had them on my PSP to listen to when I'm in the car.
Oh my god, really? Wait,
I don't have an iPod, okay?
No, I know you don't have an iPod. I'm not saying, but you use your PSP to listen to shit.
Yes.
Okay, so why not your Vita?
Because I have a lot of games on my Vita, and that means I don't have a lot of storage space on my Vita.
Okay, I can excuse that then, but...
Yeah, whereas I've stopped using my PSP for gaming a lot, so I can afford to put a lot of music on it and not really have any issues with that.
I can't remember the last time I've ever heard somebody say that they used the PSP as their fucking MP3 player.
I'm also really cheap, so I have no incentive to buy an iPod, and I have a PSP that works just fine for that purpose.
I just find that hilarious. Oh god.
I mean, it still has Dissidia on it, which I will play with friends occasionally when I remember I have it. But it's It was a fine system. It served its purpose.
Yeah.
Now it's mostly an MP3 player for me.
I have mine sitting around. I just have not bothered to dust it off for a while. Because I still have games I would like to finish on that thing, but I just have not really bothered to do anything with it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's great. So anything else you've been doing? Just...
Like I said last week in the recording that basically got deleted in a vain effort to try to get a game finished before the podcast last week, I played a game called Only If, which is bad. Quite frankly, it's a free-to-play game, so I didn't lose anything except for time when playing it. But it's honestly not that great. I mean, it's an okay puzzler. Some puzzles are just kind of like needlessly convoluted. Like there's one example, like these are the kind of puzzles that piss me off all the time. It's that there is a gate that you had to open with a switch on the other side of the room, but when you open the gate, it closes back up slowly. So you have to rush over and go through it before it closes, and those kind of puzzles just piss me off.
Right.
Quite frankly, because I know how to solve it. But I physically am not able to solve it.
Real quick, Sam's got us access to the email. If you could check that for me, then... Oh,
right, because you are physically incapable of doing so.
Yes, unfortunately, because of my recording setup. But
yeah,
I'm still able to see that he's like, hey, here's how we can get the email. So
I should probably just add that to my list of email addresses that I have in my Gmail account.
Yeah, I'll let you take care of that. So basically, this game has like some Professor Layton kind of bullshit puzzle solving that is not as well thought out, though.
And it also has a villain that is trying really, really hard to be Voss from Fallout 3. From Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
And it is very, very obvious.
Ouch.
To such a painful degree that it's actually jarring.
Man,
and it breaks my immersion.
Like, does he ask you, do you know what the definition of insanity is, or...
No, he doesn't go that far. Thank the Lord. But he'll be like... He'll command you to, like, turn around, or he'll shoot you. And once you do, he laughs at you for turning around. But if you don't, he will shoot you.
Yeah, that's...
So it's like, okay, you're a dick.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you're being a dick for no real reason because we just met.
That just sounds like shit. I have no idea
who you are.
Yeah, that just sounds like shit writing. Like, wow.
And then you'll have the choice to either... You in the game, you have a chessboard and you're supposed to choose the white or the black pawn. The white pawn you're sacrificing yourself to save a girlfriend that you apparently have. I wasn't paying too much attention at that point. And the black pawn is you're saving yourself and kind of letting your girlfriend take the hit for you.
Yeah.
And if you choose the black pawn like I did, he gets really pissy that you want to save yourself.
Wow.
And tries to kill you.
It's just one of those things. It's like, why did you even bother giving me a choice game? Like really?
Also, this email is apparently not working for me.
Uh-oh. Like, login he gave you, or?
Yeah, the login doesn't seem to work.
Crap.
Well, I'm gonna have to message him about this.
I'll let you. I'll just have you let him know.
Let me just try one more time to make sure it wasn't my screwing up.
Or like, did you type it in right?
Trying to make sure I did.
Professionalism at its finest, folks. Unless I cut this out.
No, I did. I definitely typed it in right, and it's... Oh, well.
Oh, well. Well, unfortunately, we'll have to get to this later, then. If we can. If not, oh well. So, is that pretty much what you've been doing, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, aside from the college and work shit that no one has any conceivable interest in.
Nope.
It's been my week.
Nope, none at all. So, kind of funny that, I've been playing the same game 2 weeks in a row, which was Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage. I'd kind of talked about this on the last podcast that will forever be lost to time, but I've been playing the same damn game because there is a good amount of content with that, which is cool, but I've played so much of it that it's like I don't want anything more to do with this. Like, I'm just done. I need to play something else. So, Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage is a Dynasty Warriors game, which is actually made by, I think it's Omega Force, like the people who make the Dynasty Warriors games.
There we go.
Oh, cool. You got the email?
Yeah.
We have any questions?
I need to actually finish verifying that it is in fact a
Okay.
genuine login.
Okay, I'll let while you're doing that.
Man.
Uh-oh.
They think that I'm hacking into his email.
Oh, no. Like, what? So they lock you out?
It's asking for a verification code.
Shit!
I had the message Sam.
Check your phone, man.
It's not my phone's not the one that's on their file. It's Sam's.
I know, that's what I was saying. You're gonna have to tell Sam to check his fucking phone. It thinks I'm hacking into his. Although to be fair, this is Google doing its job. Correctly. Yeah, which is perfectly valid. Because obviously, I bet like it's not recognizing the IP address from the computer you're accessing it from, where it's probably more used to wherever Sam accesses it from. Excuse me, but
yeah, Sam just gave me the code.
Let's see if this works. The thing we do for email questions.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm leaving this in. Fuck it.
Okay, this is the question that we answered last week, but since that recording no longer exists, I feel pertinent to answer it again.
Yes, please.
It's from Madonnasis. There's
our
obviously.
Friend Brandon.
But have any of you had a chance to play Wasteland 2 yet? It's been getting some great reviews across the board.
And the answer to that is still no, despite 2 weeks, simply because I haven't really felt the need to spend $40 on it yet.
Because that shit is expensive.
Yeah, $40. Which, granted, all things considered, I've heard that's not too much of an asking price.
It isn't. It's just that I am incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to go on sale at some point.
Probably.
So I'm just going to wait it out.
Damn it, I can't stop yawning. Something that I remember making mention to was the fact that I specifically added this to my wish list on GOG, but not on Steam, simply because GOG allowed me to purchase the original Wasteland. So I was like, yeah, I want to fucking buy it on GOG instead, but...
Although since Steam started their discovery queue this week, I have been adding a lot of games to my wish list.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, the whole...
My wish list ballooned from 13 to 30.
Holy shit. Like, mine's still at like an even 50. And that's also considering, well... I think I only bought like one or two things last week, but I don't remember. But still. Because I know Steam rolled out that whole curator thing, which I still don't really know what that is. It's just...
Do you want me to talk a bit about
like,
it?
Just like briefly kind of tell, like, what the fuck is this? Like,
okay, so everyone knows that recently there have been a ton of new games on Steam, and because of that flood in the market, there have been it's been really difficult for a lot of users to find games that they want to play on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So Valve's solution to this is a twofold solution. Their first solution is both to change the homepage of Steam to give all the users a discovery queue. Every day there will be 11 games chosen based on your given preferences, based on what you've bought, what your friends like, what you've said you've liked on Steam, and they'll pick 11 games for you every day to show you some of the things that are on Steam that you might be interested in. And you can either add them to your wish list, follow their developer page, or say that you have no interest in this game, and go to the next game in the queue.
Huh.
The other thing they added is Steam curators. And what that is that any person who has a Steam account is able to go into Steam and create... Oh, I'm sorry. I think any Steam group... My apologies, I misspoke. Can go into Steam and create a curation page that is a list of all the games that they believe that people in that group might be interested in purchasing based on what that group stands for. One of the noticeable examples is Total Biscuit, obviously. He has a long list of games that he has approved of, given his seal of quality to on his curation page. And there are a lot of other notable examples as well. So you can go. So a user can go into Steam, go to the list of curators, and subscribe to their feed, essentially seeing what games they recommend.
Here are games that give you a depth of field option.
And with that data, that will further filter out what kind of games that Steam might pick for your queue based on who you've subscribed to as a curator.
Yeah, my shitty Total Biscuit impression aside.
By using those curated games as a partially where they're going to take the recommendations from in the queue. So this is kind of like a huge overhaul for Steam in order to try to encourage people to just seek out games they might be interested in, or to help make that process easier.
It doesn't sound like a bad idea. I know the big concern I would have, obviously, is indie devs that want to get some of their stuff out there, like indie devs that are actually good at what they do and actually make a decent game. Because
speaking as a user who's been using for a couple days now, I am actually I am now willing to look through the Steam homepage again, because I haven't looked at the Steam homepage in months, because every time I look, there have been just nothing but games I have no interest in whatsoever. Now I'm actually seeing some games that I might want to play at some point in time, so I'm adding them to my wish list. So as a user, this has been a phenomenal change.
I know the trap I sometimes fall into is like, hey, this game's only like $5. Like, yeah, I'll buy it, despite the fact I probably had no interest in it before. Although that was kind of somewhat of an inspiration of a long tirade I went into on Twitter like last week when I was talking about like some games, no matter how cheap they are, they're still never worth it.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to go into that tangent again. So, yeah, Steam curation. That's pretty cool.
but that's the gist of what they're trying to do to make that, to kind of...
We went way off the rails, because this started as a question of, did we play Wasteland 2? And then it just went into this. Like, that just now hit me. Holy shit.
This is what happens on the Texture Pop.
Yeah.
You are aware of this, yes?
And I will say to Brandon is that Garret and Sam, neither of them have also played Wasteland 2 either.
Although it is on my wish list, and it's close to the top of it as well.
Yeah, I know I read one review of it. Like, this is a game that is old school hard. Like,
I love the old Fallout games. Fallout 1 and 2 are really good CRPGs. So
yeah.
If Wasteland 2 is like that, which I've been told it is, I am actually really excited to play it at some point.
Yeah, so it'll give you a run for your money. I'll say that much. So does he have any other questions?
That was the one that we had talked about last week and got erased.
So obviously he didn't have any new questions simply because we didn't have a new episode up, which we're sorry. We're really sorry. But hey.
Oh, wait, there might have been one more. Did we talk about Star Citizen last time?
I think that was also last week's. Was he'd asked about Star Citizen, and I remember kind of saying it's like Star Citizen has been one of those things I've been hearing about for years, and to the point of I'm tired of hearing about it, and if I want to hear anything else, it's whatever the
question was. What do you think of Star Citizen so far? Do you think it'll be able to live up to the promises that Chris Robert has made? So far, it seems to be doing well, but also looks like it'll be murder on almost everyone's PC.
Yeah, it's like the thing I keep hearing is that, oh, this Kickstarter got a shit ton of money. Well, that's great. What's it going to be like if it ever materializes and actually comes out? That's because that's my big thing. Like I said, I've been hearing about this for a long ass time to the point of I don't want to hear about it anymore until it's released. So what? And I have not been actively following it, so I can't really give any kind of a opinion on whether or not if I think it'll if it'll live up to the hype. I know the easy answer to that is no, because that's a really easy thing to fuck up on with any game these days. I mean, if it does manages to live up to that, considering all the bold promises that they've been making to that'd be a genuine surprise. But
yeah,
I guess if anything, I'm still kind of too ignorant to give any real opinion on it. I was just really fucking tired of hearing about that game. I don't give a shit unless it's out.
But those were his two questions, so we are all caught up as of right now.
I can't remember what Sam and Garrett had said about that, respectively. I think they were both kind of the opinion of this is making a lot of bold claims, and it just seems really easy that they could fuck it up. Like, and other Kickstarters that have gotten a ton of fucking money, and like so far it doesn't look like he's taking the money and running, but Kickstarters that have gotten a ton of fucking money, and then somewhere down the line they have fucked up and kind of miscalculated or tried to do too much. So yeah,
I know what you mean by that.
So unless you got any opinions on it,
no, I honestly don't, because I haven't really been following it that much. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, basically. I know. I don't want to name him, but I know there was one guy who used to know from something else we used to do that he would not shut up about it, and the fact that this guy was also kind of obnoxious was also another reason I avoided. Yeah, it was also a reason I avoided paying attention to that game, because this guy was kind of obnoxious, and I was like, okay, I really don't want to hear you talk about it anymore. Like, he would get in your face about it too, like, don't miss that guy, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you want to ask us questions, feel free to send them to thetexturepop@gmail.com, and we'll read your shit on the air. Probably not the best way to say it, but so before we had gotten to that, I was talking about I'd been playing Fist of the North Star: Ken's Rage.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, so this is a game in the vein of Dynasty Warriors because it is also developed by the folks who do the Dynasty Warriors games, Omega Force, because it is also a Tecmo Koei game. And essentially, it is a beat-em-up that uses the backdrop of the entire manga series of Fist of the North Star. I'm sure there are some people that'll say, like, well, there's some stuff that happens after that, but I don't care. To my knowledge, and based on the stuff that I've heard, this really does cover...
Based on a true story.
Based on a true manga story. This cover is basically, like, all of the important shit that happened in this manga all the way up to the very end of it, so props. Story, I'm not... I guess for people who don't know what Fist of the North Star is, the apocalypse happened, and there's this dude named Kenshiro who knows this fighting style that when he punches people, they explode. And there's a couple other dudes who know this fighting style too, and he's trying to find his woman. So there's your story. Basically, Japanese
story.
Yeah, basically Japanese take on Mad Max. So, except they're not looking for gas; they're just fighting styles, because that's such a Japanese-ass thing to do. Yeah, gameplay, like I said, it's a Dynasty Warriors game. It's you versus all these other cloned mooks that get in your way that all happen to look like dudes out of Mad Max, because that's pretty much what the anime and manga was like. And the big thing about this, the first thing I noticed, because this is like the first real time I had ever played a Dynasty Warriors game or anything like it. And from what I hear, there are some noticeable differences. For instance, when you punch, I don't want to say delayed, but like as soon as you start that punch, he carries through and you can't really change direction on it. And that's kind of applies to the combos. And I think that it was done by design because they wanted you to feel like the weight behind those punches, which they do a good job of conveying. Like, you are this massively muscled dude, and you are throwing punches that just send guys flying back. Like,
doing this badass Viking Nord.
Yeah, but at the same time, it feels stiff. Like, it's I wouldn't call it unresponsive, because like I said, as soon as it carries out a combo animation, he's not going to stop until it has completed, and you can't really change direction too well. So if you have committed to a combo, you have committed to that fucking combo. That is basically the gist of it. And the boss fights are fairly cheap, which is I would go so far as to say the boss fights are my least favorite thing about this game. It's just there are a lot of times like the bosses can break your combos really easily. The camera does not also help you, because the camera, for the most part, when you're just playing the game, you can move the camera around with the right stick, as any game. But in the boss fights, the camera auto locks onto the boss, and while you can move the camera around, it is not a good idea. And if God help you if a boss gets into a corner, because then you can't see shit. And there are times where they will just wail on you when you have like no chance to escape. Like, and granted, I completed a playthrough of this game with the main hero Kenshiro, so I completed his story. But one of the things about this game, what I think is kind of cool, is that you also get other characters to play the story mode with. And it's not that you get a different story; it's like, here's the story from their perspective.
From a different perspective.
Yeah, because it's based off pre-existing manga. It's not like they could really just fuck with that. But
they could. That just be that would be an interesting idea. Well, is to actually screw with the lore a bit.
Kind of, yeah. But I guess I didn't want to do that.
I can't blame them for not wanting to, because that is a risky move.
Yeah. I mean, granted, Fist of the North Star goes all the way back to the fucking 80s, and they probably could have fucked with it without too many people getting pissed. But for somebody like myself, that, like, I will say, I put up with this game, and I actually kind of let it grow on me, because I was genuinely interested to see what the storyline of Fist of the North Star was.
Grow on you like cancer.
I had never seen any of the manga or the anime, and like any anime I have seen was a parody series on YouTube called Dub of the North Star, which is, they show an anime, some guys talk shit over it. But
the abridged series.
Yeah, basically. But, this was like, okay, I want to see, like, how this series takes itself seriously and all this crazy shit. And from what I hear, the game actually does a really good job of giving you a really good Cliff Notes version of the entire story. Which is cool, because I actually I came away from this feeling like I could explain who these characters and what their motivations were and why shit went on.
And why people care about them.
Yeah. So I could get that. From a gameplay standpoint, like, playing as Kenshiro, who's like the main dude that you play as, I got a kick out of doing some of the shit that you do, because despite the fact the controls feel a little funky and stuff, I got a kick out of this game because you do genuinely feel like a badass despite the fact you're fighting a bunch of cloned character models, but whatever, it still feels pretty badass when you just run up on them and just do a single kick and send a wave of them flying, as well as this whole, like, there are signature moves that you get, which are, there's like a special meter that you'll get under your health meter, and you just push the square, no, it's the circle button. I was right the first time. Square button is what you're hitting all the time to just ad nauseum, but you hit the circle button and they'll do like a signature move from the anime and manga, where like Ken's 100 fist punch, where he's just like, like, I never got tired of that. I'm sure there are people that would. I wasn't one of them. I liked it the more I did it. And so, I guess...
That's what she said.
Yeah. I guess this was right up my alley. Lame joke, man. Lame joke. Come on. I liked what this game did, and I thought it was really cool. Although, granted, I was playing with the Japanese voice acting on, because you can play this with either English or Japanese voices. And the only time I turned the English voices on, I wanted to turn them off right away, because there's probably one dude...
That bad?
It was like, the one dude that I did this with was a character named Ray, who is he's another good guy that you get to play as in one of the other story missions, but he sounded okay, but like, hearing some of the goons give their cheesy lines ad nauseum, like, we bite and we dig in deep, like, hearing that for like the 5th time or so, just it really wore on me. Not
Strip the flesh.
Yeah.
Salt the wound.
Like, you hear that all the time, and it sounds really shitty. So I was like, yeah, at least when they're saying, like, nondescript shit in Japanese, I don't mind it. And Kenshiro especially was, like, the worst example, because he sounds terrible. Like, his English voice actor was just this really, really bad Keanu Reeves impression. Like, oh god, no, I can't. I'm glad I did not play 14 chapters of this. And what's also funny about the English voice acting is every time they do a signature move, they always say what the move is. But even in the English voice acting, they say it in Japanese. Which is kind of dumb, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I just know what mode this game was meant to be played in. And there's also just that thing of I'm looking to see like how the lip syncing.
It's probably as a quirk of how some words in Japanese just sound cooler.
I guess, yeah.
English.
I know I was also trying to see like what's the lip syncing like between this, because the Japanese lip syncing looks fucking spot on. It looked great because the graphics in this game are actually pretty good to look at. I will say the environment textures are less to be desired, but the characters and the models, they look really, really good. And as I'd said, the lip syncing for the Japanese voiceovers and the cutscenes is really fucking spot on. And the English...
What?
Yeah. What?
I said but.
The English stuff, it doesn't look bad. It actually still looks competent. Although if you looked close enough, you could kind of see that they're doing some kind of trickery to make it look like they're saying those words in English, even though they're not really animated to. But it doesn't look real bad at all. It's still competent looking. But at the same time, I couldn't stand listening to like the goons talk in English or something and just the repetitive lines. I was just like, no, just turn the Japanese voice acting on. I don't give a shit. Yeah, it's the only other thing that I thought was kind of funny mentioning was, going around and there's a bridge. You have to punch it down to get further. And like Ken has this line of, maybe my fist could do something about that bridge. No shit! Your fists have been the answer to every problem so far, man, up until this very point. And I'm more than willing to bet that your fists are going to be the answer for every problem moving forward. It's like, when have your fists not been the answer in a beat 'em up?
Well, I mean, sometimes his feet are probably the answer sometimes
probably.
as well.
There are a few times where he kicks, but other than that, nope. But, I
am kick puncher. My punches are as strong as kicks.
Oh, God. But I got a kick out of this game, and as I mentioned, I've been playing it for 2 weeks, mostly because there are other character story modes that you get. Like, I finished Ray, There's this one girl called Mamiya, who is an important lady in the manga series. I didn't like playing as her too much, because she doesn't know any of these make people explode fighting styles or whatever. She straight up gets weapons. How
dare she?
Like, she straight up gets weapons. Like, she has, like, these yo-yos with spinning blades on them, which seems kind of cool. But she also straight up has a crossbow that you can just shoot dudes with. And for a while, I almost kind of felt like I was cheating with her, because, like, as a mob of goons is running up to me, I'm just charging this thing and blasting at them, and they have no way to to retaliate. But she was really shitty to use against the boss fights, simply because when you charge your shots, the bosses do not give you enough time, and she just was not that fun to play as. So, but whatever. But yeah, I've been playing that game for 2 weeks, and I think I've pretty much explained all I can explain about it. It's a Dynasty Warriors-esque game. There's a really good amount of content, and if you had like a passing interest in Fist of the North Star like I did, you might get a kick out of it. Although I will say, I was specifically playing the first game. There was a follow-up that came out called Ken's Rage 2. I have heard that game is shit. It is not good. And it's like, you already told the whole manga story, what can you do in a follow-up? Well, here's some stuff that we may have glossed over.
Go again.
Yeah, do it again.
The Dynasty Warriors tradition, you tell the same story over and over and over again.
Yeah, do it again, but here's some extra stuff we gloss over. Stuff in the manga people don't really care about. And like Jim Sterling, like he is a noted fan of Dynasty Warriors games, and it was mostly from his recommendation that I decided to give this game a try, as well as like a couple. I've had one or two people on my friends list say that this game wasn't that bad, and because of the fact that I managed to pick up a used copy for $10, I didn't feel too bad about it either. But the second game, Jim Sterling hated that one. Like. He just was not happy with it at all. Like, they fucked up. So, avoid the second one, folks. If you want to play Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage, get the first one. Which...
I just imagine Jim Sterling with Angry Joe going, "You done fucked it up."
I believe Jim Sterling's original quote was, Hakudo Shitkin, which is basically what the second one is. That's funny, because Hakudo Shinken is fighting style used in Fist of the North Star. What else? I know it was kind of weird that you can't buy this game on PSN, but you can buy the second one. I don't know why that is.
Probably some sort of licensing agreement that went on at some point.
Who knows? Because
I know a lot of the things that people want to be put on GOG but aren't on GOG are because of license agreements.
Yeah.
I'd be more willing to bet that would be the case for this game as well.
I know when like Activision and Marvel's deals fell through, it was like, no more Activision and Marvel games. Like, you can't buy them at all. Nope.
Pretty much.
Basically. Oh, hey, Sam's here.
Oh, hey, Sam got back from work.
Or whenever he gets his mic set up. Uh-oh.
Hi, Sam. I hacked into your email while you were gone.
Oh, Jesus. I wonder if he can hear us.
Probably.
Well, he came at the right time, though, because I was running out of shit to talk about.
Sam has texted me in the Skype chat saying that he, in fact, can hear us.
Okay.
It's a shame.
Because we can't hear you. Sam's having technical difficulty. That's great.
Well, it wouldn't be the texture problem if we didn't have technical difficulties.
Of course not. Of course not.
It would feel wrong.
We probably shouldn't have even done this week.
Well, we can't just go 2 weeks with no podcast.
Couldn't we?
No, we can't, because then people forget we exist, and I can't have people forget that I exist.
No, of course not.
I'm too valuable.
Well, while Sam's getting that around, he's trying to join us.
How dare you forget that I exist, people?
Oh, man. Actually, never mind. I really can't think of anything. I haven't played...
Oh, God.
There we go.
What happened?
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez.
We can hear you now, Sam.
Oh.
So how was pizza?
PCI cards.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
How was the pizza?
Okay. There was a lot of it. People asked for it late at night when we were trying to close, because people are assholes.
So how's your couple weeks been?
It happens to me at work sometimes, too, although instead of a pizza, it's a camera.
So I'd rather take cameras over pizzas. Somebody called like half an hour before close, and like, I want 3 subs and a pizza and 2 salads.
Oh,
pick
man.
up. Could have been delivered.
See, because when you're closing at my store, you can't come in afterwards, but any customers that were in can stay in as long as they want to.
They don't have a thing where it's like, stores closing in 5 minutes.
Nope, the lights just turn off and then on again, and that's just a signal that...
That'd be great if they just turn the lights off and be like, alright, find your way out. You fucking stayed too long.
And then they can stay in as long as they want, especially if there's a pending transaction.
Pending transactions, my favorite kind of transactions.
I really hope nobody heard that. I took my headset off so I could blow my nose.
We
sounded
did
like you were
that.
dying.
Oh, damn it.
Where's Garret, by the way?
Potato chips. He was supposed to come in at some point. He never did.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think...
I don't know if he's in the process of coming in or if he died today. I don't really know.
More than likely...
Texting us at Skype from beyond the grave.
More than likely his folks are keeping him super busy, but...
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got food.
Awesome. What have you been doing this few weeks?
Oh, you bitch.
Ho 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 ho.
I'm not hungry, so I don't care.
No, not you. Digital Devil Saga 2, when your characters are confused, there's a random chance they'll just drop money for no fucking reason.
Yes, I am.
But why? Why are they so confused that they're emptying their pockets?
I don't know. I don't know that. Maybe it's a scathing commentary of the retail industry.
Whoa.
I don't know.
It's too
Either
much
way,
for me.
it pisses me off, and it shouldn't happen.
I'm so confused. I'm just throwing money at people. It's like capitalism. I don't know.
Capitalism endures.
Yeah. What did I do? I played a video game,
Uh-huh.
I think.
That was most of us. We played and
Yeah.
single player games.
Yeah.
Basically, each of us only had time to play one fucking thing, despite the fact it's been
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I mean, like, this past week I worked 30 hours. 30 hours in 1 minute I got for the week.
That paycheck did, though.
Yeah, no, I got $300 on my last one, and my birthday was yesterday, so I got another, like, 300 or so. So I've got, like, $800 in the bank.
Say, how
And
much?
I'm like, maybe... How much what?
How much do you make
What,
an
Nick?
hour?
$7.25 plus tips.
Oh, okay.
And on average, I make $20 a night on tips.
I was about to say, guys, I have like 1,000 in my bank right now.
Yeah.
Well, fuck
as
you.
soon as I saw that money, I was like, I could get a PS4. I don't need a PS4.
I'm sorry, I have 1,000 checking and another 1,000 in savings.
Oh, just
As I
fancy.
said, fuck you.
He's so fancy, we already know.
Although I don't think that's really something you should be saying on a fucking podcast.
My bank account number is 0200.
My bank account number is 1234567.
Come rob me, bitches.
Bring it on. All the Aiden Pierces of the world.
My password is
Jesus.
4, 8, 15, 16, 21,
Dude,
32.
Watch Dogs has told me that all people have to do to hack your bank account is just hold a button on their phone. That's all
Yep,
you gotta do.
basically.
There's nothing to it.
Especially
You
when
just
they're
download the hack your
inhuman
bank
pieces
account
of
iPhone
shit
app.
like Aiden Pierce.
Yep.
I mean, I hacked into Sam's email. It's apparently easy. All you need to do is ask them for their username and password.
What's funny is that I sent you that, and then I immediately got a text from Google that was like, your Google verification code, and I was like, what is that for? And then I saw your thing that was like, it fucking locked me out. I was like, "That's
Google
great."
thinks I hacked in.
Well, to be fair, it's coming from across the country.
Yeah, and
You're
to be
logging a
fair,
temp.
that's what Google's supposed to do.
Yeah. It's from a different computer, so it should do that.
Yep.
Fuck, game I played, right. I beat Dead Rising 3.
Oh, awesome. How'd that go?
It's like Dynasty Wars, but with zombies.
Which is funny because we were just talking about Ken's Rage, which is like Dynasty Warriors but with anime.
Yeah.
It's
Specifically,
like
'cause-
Ken Rage, but with zombies.
I mean, specifically considering the fact that Ken's Rage was made by the people who do Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
We should merge them together and make Dynasty Warriors with anime zombies.
Oh, God.
Wait, that already happened. That was Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, it
That was
was.
more comics than zombies. I don't know.
Yeah, got it.
There is anime zombie series. Like, I've watched them.
But
and I've
not
read
with
some.
Dynasty Warriors.
It's true. Oh my god.
Have Lu
Wait,
Bu take
wait,
out the
no.
zombie horde
Well,
of
kind
cute
of.
high school zombies.
Kind of happened. It's called Odi Chambara Bikini
Yeah.
Zombie Squad.
Yep, there you go.
So, kind of. Except it's awful. It's kind of the worst thing in the
Yeah.
world. I need to get a copy of that.
You should,
Anyway,
you should get the new one where they get to wear fruit for bikinis.
I love
Yes.
Samuel's way of thinking. It's really bad. I need to get a copy of it.
Let's go buy this. Hold on. Suspicious sign-in prevented. Hi, Texture Pop Texture. No, wait. Texture Pop High Texture. I don't know. Because that's what my first name is on the thing. Let's see. Someone used your password to try to sign into your Google account. We prevented the sign-in attempt in case this was a hijacker trying to access your account. Brandon, you never told me you were a hijacker. How could you?
Well, I
trusted
mean,
you.
I don't like to I don't like to announce my terrorist activities. Okay.
He did play Watch
Hey.
Dogs.
It lists your IP address, by the way. I will now
course.
submit this to 4chan.
Why do you have to do this, Aiden? Because
I'm the hero the city needs. Fucking. Anyway,
Because I'm going to be the
Fucking-
watchdog.
I don't know what to say about Dead Rising 3 beyond, like, it's fun. And I played the DLC too, and it's like they're each like 2 hours long or something like that. And they're about the characters that basically set up the stories from Dead Rising 3, like the dudes that you meet.
right.
I don't know. Like, I could spoil an ending thing that's kind of funny that kind of, like, made me laugh out loud. I thought it was great, but I don't know if you want me to. It's just a, like, cameo thing.
Yeah, you go ahead. I don't really
Yeah,
care.
go ahead. Why not? Fuck it. We're gonna spoil Dead Rising 3.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah. So, at the beginning of Dead Rising 3, you meet this girl named Annie, and
Oh, I
she's
know
like,
this twist.
yeah, she's like emo chick, and then the character Nick falls in love with her, and then at one point you hear somebody say, somebody in the back of you say Katie, and you're like, what? And then out steps Chuck fucking Green.
Oh,
with a
shit.
full-on beard and like long hair, and he's like, Katie Annie Green. And I was like, oh my god. And you spend the, that's actually if you get, the S rank ending, which is not hard to do at all. If you just do the story normally without doing it within the 7 days, and you do one particular thing that you're supposed to do, then you get that ending where you get to play an extra mission with Chuck Green at your side.
Overtime.
Yeah, it's called Overtime.
Nice.
And you
It's
basically
always
play
been called overtime in every Dead Rising game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you play with Chuck Green, and you get to take down the big bad guy by literally fighting him on a podium surrounded by zombies, and you throw him into a chopper
Wow.
blade.
Get to the chopper.
It's pretty great.
So did you
Well,
like?
that-
So were you at 50 by the time you had finished the game, or did you like bang it out and grind a bit? Or?
Actually, no, I got to 36 or so by the time I finished.
Oh, okay.
And first DLC I played, I gained about 2 or 3 more levels. So I'm like 40-ish now, midway through, or I beat 2 DLCs now, I'm about 40-something. I did not do the Giant Bomb Grim Reaper hack.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna bring up.
Which is great. Yeah, I was trying to build it, and I should go do that just to go get 50.
Yeah.
Just so I can max everything out. But
The Caravella
I didn't
method
bother.
has been called.
of course. But that was the only game I played. I bought 3 today that I just very, very lightly touched. One of them is Neverending Nightmares, which you probably heard about. Game that got kickstarted, 2D horror game. Giant Bomb
I know that game. No, I don't.
It's by a guy who had some serious clinical depression. He basically wrote a game about how he feels, and it's like really fucked up.
Yeah, like some of the shit that goes on in that game is like inspired by like nightmares he had. Like,
yeah, it's all like sort of sketch art style. So when something is dark, it's basically just looks like a pencil, like just sketching across the screen a whole bunch.
yeah, the art style in that
it's got
is like, it's super
it's like
fucking
drawings.
eerie.
Yeah, it looks just like a normal person's drawing who has a semi-competent understanding of how to draw. It's interesting.
Like,
But the things that you interact with are colors. So red is like bright fucking red when everything else is black and white.
yeah,
And it's noticeable. One of the things they showed the Giant Bomb Quick Look that really got me playing with the controller is the way that the game kind of works is that you'll get to a certain... It's like PT, which is great that PT came out before this to solidify it. In that you do something, you complete an action, and then you inevitably, something happens to you that quote-unquote kills you, and you reset in the bed, but that action has been completed. So say, like, you know, if you get an axe and you chop down a bunch of boards to a door, but then something kills you immediately after because it's supposed to, when you wake up in the bed where you were before, the door's open now, so you don't have to repeat the process. So you're basically kind of like it's battling again. You just do something, it kills you, and then you wake up, but you have a new item next to your bed, or a new door has been open. But one of the things early on that just fucking, oh god, was when you have a candle that you pick up, and with the candle you can go downstairs to the basement, which you couldn't before because it was too dark. And it would just basically, if you go inside the darkness, you just hear voices getting louder, and then the dude just screams and he wakes up in the bed because you're constantly just waking up over and over. That's like the death revive system.
wow.
Is you wake up from a nightmare.
You're having a dream.
Yeah. So when, the thing is, though, is that you get to the basement, and with that, you can put away the darkness, and then you see an axe, and you need the axe to take down the boards on a door. And I was like, all right. So you pick up the axe, but that means you put down the candle, so the darkness starts coming in, and you know you hear like the typical whispers and screams. So instead of just like waking up or whatever, it goes to a first-person view, and he literally like picks at his arm and takes out a blue vein, and you just hear him scream, go like, ah! He's like tearing the vein out of his arm. I like freaked out. This was like a couple hours ago, like 3 p.m. I was playing this with headphones on.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, dude, this is not okay on so many
Nope.
levels. Like, it's in the Giant Bomb Quick Look, and you'll
That
see
is in fact
Drew
not
and Dan's
okay.
reaction. Like, Drew and Dan played it on Giant Bomb, and their reaction is about the one I had, which is just, like, part disgust, part fucking terror. Especially with that art style, like,
Slash
it's so simple,
morbid
but-
fascination.
yeah. But it's not, like, super gory. It's just the idea of him, like, pulling out vein, and it also rumbles your controller each time it sort of, like, clicks another part out. Like, it comes out in, like, little bits, and each time that happens, the controller vibrates a little bit.
Oh,
and it's like, oh, that's tactile, and that's not good.
I'm getting
Yeah.
grossed out just thinking about it.
Force feedback is still relevant.
Somebody, he uses that, and he also uses binaural audio, which he just calls special headphone setting, which basically just means that things come either from the left or the right, and they come around the back of your head or the front of your head. So when things, there's actually a part that nothing has come like to me yet, like no monster or anything, but at one point it sounded like something was on the other side of the wall, and I heard it from the right earphone, and it basically just sort of glided from the right to a lot of right, a little bit of left, mid-right, mid-left, a lot bit left, and it sort of felt like it was walking in front of me with that sound.
Shit.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
that is when horror is at its best, is when it can fuck with your sense of hearing. Because it's kind of like people who make horror movies, they will tell you, if you're seeing a horror movie and you don't want to be scared, don't cover your eyes, cover your ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mute it. You won't.
Because the sound is what really gets you.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see how it continues. So I really hope that it becomes like the next Amnesia sort of thing. Because the Kickstarter, it just barely passed funding. It's made by like one guy. I believe he had a little bit of help.
Yeah.
But I hope this becomes like a big thing as far as it's not cheap horror. Like, it's really interesting to play.
I know, like, the thing about it is that death kind of doesn't sound like it's a consequence, but it's more like a form of progression. Like,
yeah. Again, just like in PT worked the same way, where PT you would walk, complete an action, and then that action would be completed when you restart the same hallway.
Yeah.
Because PT only takes place in one hallway.
It's like you're trying to avoid getting murdered because it's fucking horrifying, but...
Yeah. So, yeah, this is kind of like that, in that the trailer shows a few more levels, but the one I'm on right now is just this house. And every time he wakes up, the house gets more and more, like, decrepit. So it seems to be that time's passing on, which is really weird.
I know, like, the big thing the art style reminds me of, back when I was a kid, was when I was in elementary school, and they would have, like just kind of scary books intended for kids or whatever. They were drawn like that. That's what this basically reminds me of. And granted, like, you know, obviously it's supposed to be like scary little dumb stories for kids to read or whatever, but some of them can be super fucking eerie, and like the look of some of the way they draw it, that's exactly what this art style reminds me of, because it looks just like that, and it's fucking disturbing.
I think Dan said that it was either Dan or Drew said it reminded him of a series that I've read called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
Which they made 3 of those.
Yeah, I think
and those have really realistic art style. It's like black and white sketches, and they just look fucking horrifying.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. It's funny that after I played that, I actually immediately went on Amazon and I bought a book that I read long, long ago called In the Land of the Lawn Weenies, which is like a part comedy horror series for kids.
I've never heard
I remember that series scaring the shit out of me. Yeah. There was one story from that book that I remember always got me as someone who played video games about a kid who goes up to play his older sister's video games with his friends, and they're just playing some kind of shit like Galactus clone or whatever. And at one point, like, all his friends leave because it was like something weird was happening where, like, if the it was, what happened is that you played the game, you couldn't leave, and that if your ship died, they died. Like, just straight up, they would just disappear from the world. Man. So the ending I remember that really got me was that he's sitting there and he's like, I don't want to die. So he presses the pause button, and the last scene is basically describing how he's in the attic alone with the door locked, and he's pressed pause so he can no longer move. He's paralyzed forever.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, nobody will ever find me. And I'm like, that is fucking terrifying to tell. Like, I was like 10 at the time.
That's so much fucking worse.
Someone who played a lot of video games, I was like, I don't want to fucking live that life.
Nope.
God.
That's fucked up.
Yep. So, Neverending Nightmares, check that out. I'll probably just link to the video that I'm referencing.
Yeah.
And anything that's referenced earlier. I also played a little bit of A Story About My Uncle, which is a exploration style game. It's been weird. I don't know how to describe that one. It's kind of like Partner's Edge with weird story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing Game Grumps play that, and it doesn't really look like there's any real combat. It's really just a lot of like exploration, like some puzzle platforming. It's for all intents and purposes
a platformer, yeah. It looks interesting. According to this, I played about half an hour. That sounds about right. I'll have more to say about when I play it longer.
You know, something worth mentioning, though, it was your birthday recently.
Yeah, yesterday. Turned 21.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Get drunk.
Yeah, as my buddy Nick Yateman put it when he messaged me on Skype yesterday, he says, "Congratulations, you can now legally turn up." And I was like, "Thanks, man. Always wanted to turn up.
Wow.
I will no longer have to turn down for anything." But yeah, it's funny. I didn't really do any drinking or anything, but
No.
because I went to work that morning.
I didn't for my birthday either.
And
Yeah.
neither did I.
Little interest.
My aunt said I should have, but I didn't.
Yeah, I just went to work for like 5 hours, and when I came back, I had some burgers with the family. We watched some internet videos I've always wanted to show them, like Todd in the Shadows and Your Movie Sucks, and Cinemassacre, Monster Madness.
Nice.
And the gift that I got was the Universal classic films, Frankenstein and Dracula,
Ooh.
because they know I love classic film.
Timeless.
Yes.
So it's Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, the 1931 Universal film, and Dracula from, I believe, 1928 with Bela Lugosi.
I think that one was from 39.
Okay.
So
Close
Unless you're thinking of the Hammer film.
no, I am thinking of the Bela Lugosi film. It is. I think that one is from 39.
Oh, you know what? I might be thinking of. I'm thinking of the German one, Nosferatu. That was 22.
Yeah. That one.
That's the only 1920s horror film.
Yeah, because that would have been a silent movie.
Yeah, you're right. Later 30s. But yeah, so I got some money, and because I had a whole bunch of spare cash, and a bunch of people tell me, why the fuck would I do this? I bought an iPhone 5S.
Oh God.
And I have a Nexus 5, so I have the Android and the iPhone flagship phones.
Oh, did any of you hear the stories about the new iPhone, the 6?
The Bedgate.
Yep.
I saw the original videos. I follow that guy. I watch his stuff.
That apparently it's so thin that if you sit on it in your pocket, it will bend.
Well, it's funny, though. The common misconception is that people sitting on their back pocket, it bends in your front pocket.
Yes. Which is where I keep my phone.
That's where, like, most people do. So that's the big concern, is that if it was a back pocket, it'd be like, whatever, the way you sit, that kind of makes sense. But if it's in your front pocket, it shouldn't bend the way it does.
No.
It's because apparently it's because people wearing skinny jeans.
Well, fucking Apple should have thought about that, because that's what everybody wears.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking pressure points in your pockets. I mean, but, like, not only is it because it's thin, but it's made out of fucking aluminum. Of course that shit's gonna bend.
So the big problem that people discovered is that there was a conspiracy theory that people were just saying that to fuck up with Apple, but the same guy bent a whole bunch of other phones, and the big problem is that there are other phones made of aluminum, like the Moto X is aluminum, HTC One M8 is almost 100% aluminum, but they actually have, it's either metal or titanium or something like that, bands around it, so it specifically, so it does not bend at the edges. Yeah. Like, they're specifically built with shells that are made of harder metal, so that they don't bend like that. Like, they understood that. Apple probably didn't do it either for price or because it made it heavier or thicker. My guess is the last two.
I'm guessing because it would have made it thicker.
Yeah.
Because for some reason they want it very thin. I'm not entirely sure why.
It's like funny, all the tech guys I know complain that it's so thin that the camera protrudes. And they're like, I'd rather just be a little bit thicker, have a bigger battery, and have some kind of hard metal around it.
Yeah, because you need a thinner battery which doesn't hold as big a charge.
So I guarantee that there's going to be like a 6S that's going to be like, it's a little bit thicker, but it's got a better battery and a titanium.
Like, my phone
and it won't bend in your skinny jeans.
Like, my current phone with the rubber case and everything that I have on it, it's only like not even half an inch. It's like under that. It's like, how fucking thin does your phone need to be?
I think that's the funniest thing about it.
My current phone, it's a fairly decently sized Android device. I can fit my wallet and my 3DS in the same pocket I have this phone in, if I'm fitting it in right.
Yeah.
Wait, what phone do you have?
It's an LG. I don't know what the actual model is.
Is it G2 with the buttons on the back?
No, there's no buttons on the back.
My phone is.
I don't
know. My phone is a Samsung Galaxy Nexus.
Yeah.
Even the Samsung Galaxies are actually pretty good phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the Galaxy Nexus, which is technically different. It's the Google designed phone by Samsung.
I have had this thing since 2012, so...
Yeah, and
Samsung makes good products, which is Considering, because I don't hear a lot about them, they make good products, and people don't talk about it for some reason.
Well, I mean, the Galaxy S3
Because it
what made Android popular.
It's because it works. That's why people don't say a whole lot about it. People have something to say when they want to bitch. That's basically how the world has become.
Like, that's the exact same thing that happened with the iPhone. People don't talk about their iPhones because there's nothing to complain about.
No.
Like, there's nothing exemplary about them, but there's
until they bend in your skinny jeans.
Yeah. Or if you're, or like I think it was back in like 2012, if not 2011, when fucking iPhones couldn't even give people directions. Like, like you couldn't use maps or anything on that. It was just super busted. It was.
Yeah. Well, in iOS 7, I think it was either 6 or 7 came out. They changed their maps to Nokia or something like that. It was some other map service.
Yeah, like they couldn't use
something
Google.
like that. And then Google took out their app, and they didn't bring it back for months. So the big problem is that Google, like a lot of maps places, eventually learns where you are and it learns where you're trying to go. So having to start fresh, it basically gave people all the wrong directions.
Yes.
Yeah. The first delivery I tried to took using Apple Maps, I put in the address, and Google normally knows where I am, so I don't have to put in the zip code or anything. It's just like, here's the nearest place with this exact address. Apple tried to take me to California because there was a place with that address in California, even though there's a place 5 minutes away with that same address. And I'm like, could you not tell the difference and know which one I'm trying to go to?
Google Maps is so much better.
Once again, when we give up our privacy, the future's going to be awesome. It's.
I mean, I just got to a point where I just stopped fucking caring.
Yeah.
Like,
and
there's certain things I don't give up on, but like for the most part, it's like I don't care if you know what the fuck I am. Everything knows what the fuck I am.
Basically, hey, Garrett's here.
The gang's all here.
Yeah, we're bitching about knowing where the fuck I am. I don't know. We're talking about maps.
We're talking about how the iPhone sucks, the new one.
That's why I got the old one.
I heard people say it bends, and I also heard that was a myth.
Also, what happened to
Oh, no, it bends.
quality?
Like, Yeah, your quality's bad. It'll probably pick up. He just logged on. He usually picks back up in a sec.
How is it now?
Oh, that's
much,
great.
Much better.
Okay.
So the thing is, I saw that people claim it's a myth because I saw the guy who did the video talk about it on Twitter. So he went to Toronto, like where he lives. He went to a public park, and he invited anybody that could show up to come watch him do it live, just to prove that it was real. And I think like 5 or 6 people bent them together in front of hundreds of other people. So,
why would you do that? Why would you break your phone?
Well, the idea is that it bends on its own, and they want to show
iPhone
how
is
shoddy the material is. Like, it's aluminum, which is just really susceptible
the
to
iPhone
bending.
6.
You shouldn't be able to bend your phone with just your bare hands. Like,
No.
it shouldn't develop a permanent bend.
Nope.
Because he tested it on, like, I think people have claimed the 5S kind of does that, but it's so little. Whereas the 6, you can put on a straight curve. Like, it'll bend at, like, a 40-degree angle.
Yeah.
It's gnarly to look at. Oddly enough, though, it doesn't seem to shatter the screen, which I thought would happen. I don't know if it's slightly flexible or something.
From one story I read, when he bent it, it didn't do anything to the screen, but when he tried to make it straight again, the screen fucking cracked. Like,
I believe it.
yeah.
I believe that.
That makes sense.
Because isn't the screen like kind of a glass, like a plastic? So
Well, yeah,
wouldn't it
they
do
were
that?
going to use sapphire, which was basically indestructible, but I believe the stories where there's a finite resource, they couldn't make that many phones with it. So they're using the same stuff they always use, which most phone screens are slightly pliable because most of them do bend like millimeters at a time, but nothing ever noticeable.
I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of materials just bend and contract naturally without you noticing it.
Yeah, especially with heat and cold,
Yeah.
they do change. Phone keeps lighting up.
So, Garrett, now that you're here,
Yes.
what have you been up to last couple of weeks?
Oh, finally get to eat.
Ah, shit. I don't have my bulletin board. Well, let's see. I've been doing school. That's fun. Been playing lots of League, of course. Been actually doing really well. I'm actually really proud. Played 10 games of Norms, and not only did I win 8 of those 10, but I also carried in over half of them.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
I mean, what did you
They're
carry,
really
though?
good.
Did you, like, carry some suitcases?
Well,
Carry some notes?
had to carry my team after a idiot fed a Garret.
Has anyone ever drawn fan art where, like, one character is actually carrying the 4 other
Yes.
characters in League? Like, that
Yes,
has to
Of
have happened.
course.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
actually.
Of course,
yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
surprised if there wasn't any.
Yeah, if you follow League of Legends on Facebook, they have a Sunday comic, and it's fan comics.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. But so yeah, I've been going back and playing Jinx and actually doing really, really well. I also did top as Jax, and I got to show off my PAX Jax skin.
Nice.
Which, for those who don't know, the PAX Jax skin is it's designed to look like the samurai Gabe outfit from Penny Arcade. Yeah, cardboard samurai, yellow with Pac-Man on the back, and instead of a sword, he has a cardboard tube.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's Jax's skin. It's the same thing.
Wait, so how did you get that? You went to PAX, or?
No, sadly, a friend gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
A friend had it, and he's like, "I'll fucking play this game." I was like, I was like, dude, that's kind of cool. I'll take it, I guess. And I took it, knowing I'm like, oh my god, this thing is worth a lot.
I'll sell it for millions of dollars.
And I was like, I'm gonna use it. But yeah, so someone today asked, so when'd you go to PAX? I went, 2011.
I mean, at that point, might as well just shut them up.
I was like, I went 2011, and they're like, oh, that's cool. I've never gone to a gaming convention. I've never gone to a convention, period, because I am a sad, poor sack of shit.
Aw.
Well, I've never gone because they're usually very far away because no one comes to Delaware for anything.
Yeah, they're far away. I have to get a plane. I have to get a hotel. I'm poor. I don't have.
Yeah, I hear you
I can't.
100% on that one.
Yeah, I'm like, I've got.
And
I
need
got
I remind
college
you,
class.
Delaware is the pits.
I got college classes, and I got family that would be like, no, don't go. It's dangerous.
Oh,
And I
college.
also-
Yeah, I don't have time to. When in
I
college,
got a fucking job.
you get
Yeah.
behind in college for one day, it's over.
I'm getting a job. Hopefully, maybe possibly, I put in an application with a resume. It was all very professional.
To what
at
company?
Nice.
GameStop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I guess. I won't
I can
shit
think
on
of
them too
worse
much.
places to start.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the hotel, the plane ticket, got college, maybe possibly getting a job. Family would be like, like all of this. Like I've never gone to a convention. Can't wait to.
I
But
can't remember who it was. I know somebody at one point had asked me, like, there was some convention, and they're like, oh, why aren't you going? I'm like, what? I'm poor. That's why I'm not going. I can't afford that shit.
You see
I don't know
this
how-
stack of bills?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I ain't going.
I don't know how Connor does it. He's gone to like 3 this year.
I don't know who that is.
I'll tell you in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so we were doing that, getting some fan art done by Kindle. It's going to be it's going to be very Jinx-like because I'm maining Jinx. It's going to be pretty cool. Can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
And rented Destiny. Going to be playing that.
Oh, no.
Going to be playing that soon. It's funny. The
Hey, we
guys,
can talk about it.
yeah, the
Damn
guys-
Let's keep talking about it.
Yeah,
I
the
can't wait till
guys-
I buy my PS4 and a copy of Destiny so we can talk about Destiny on the
I
PS4.
can't wait for the PS4. Yes,
So,
yeah,
so
I'll
you're
play it on
you rented it like for what? Like
to review.
no, but what platform did you rent it on?
Xbox 360.
Oh, okay.
How long did you rent it for? Or was it like an unlimited till your turn it thing?
I only rented it for 3 days,
Okay.
so I'm just gonna kind of.
That's more than enough time to get the full breadth of what Destiny is about.
Then
Yeah.
we can talk about it.
Got upset. That
He's so excited to talk about it.
Shit.
No, I only find it amusing because we were just talking earlier in this very cast about how we should not be talking about Destiny.
No.
Should we just hang up a sign that says, let's not ever
Well,
talk about Destiny again?
Like I said, I gave the caveat of unless one of us fucking plays it, then yes, we'll talk about Destiny. But
Yes.
But yeah, so did Jinx actually did really well as Jungle Vi. That was pretty cool.
ooh,
Sadly, one of the most interesting things that happened this week was I finally changed not only my lock screen but my laptop's wallpaper.
Yeah, that could be a big change.
That could be a big change.
And
honestly, I've not changed the wallpaper.
Next weekend, next weekend I'm sorry.
I change my wallpaper about once a month, maybe.
I've not.
I change it like once a day or two.
Well, you change everything.
Like my desktop wallpaper for the computer that I have now, like it has basically been like it was on like that default stupid Windows logo one, and then I changed it to.
Oh God.
Yeah,
there's so many artifacts on that picture, man. How can you use it?
Yeah, like no. As soon as I got it, I changed it. The day that I got it, I changed it to one of those kind of like nature photos, like the one with the waterfall that they always have in like Windows stuff.
Oh, look at all the nature.
Like it's got like multiple waterfalls. Like I'm not tired of looking at that yet, so I have that one on there.
I got a picture of Hayley Williams from Paramore because she's awesome.
I have a picture of Jinx shooting at Vi, and Vi's running at her.
Nice.
And I got a I changed that from Zig's like standard cover photo. I changed it from that. I had the Zig's cover photo for about 6 months. I finally changed it.
I know you talk about Jinx as a League of Legends character, but I can't help but think about Teen Titans when you mention the character Jinx.
A lot of people like that. A lot of people like that. I'm opposite. People are like, yeah, Jinx. I'm like, oh yeah, blue hair, minigun, rocket launcher. Like, no, Jinx. The, like weird, like purple and like pink hair. That
she causes bad luck. That's why her name is Jinx.
I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, so did that. Been playing League a lot, getting some art. Gonna be reviewing Destiny, and man, nothing else. Just doing games. I guess the games that we're making are they're getting a lot more. They're improving a lot. We now have to make our own game, and I'm making a dungeon and crawl game. But yeah, we've made Pac-Man, we've made Tetris, we've made we've made a game where we learned how to have something click and drag, and we've learned how to make a game where something follows your mouse.
So basically, at the rate you're going, you're going to have the next World of Warcraft app next month.
Yeah, about that.
World of Warcraft 2
You know
coming
what?
out.
I don't think that was something we did mention though.
Titan?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brandon and I were kind of stumped on like any news happened, and we were both kind of like, I don't fucking know. Yeah, that just reminded me of that bullshit that was Titan.
Yeah. Oh,
you'll have to enlighten me on this.
Oh, and
Blizzard made a game, then they canceled it.
Oh,
well,
right.
We'll let Garret finish. Well,
yeah.
I also am upset because Evolve has been pushed back to 2015.
I mean, that happened like a month or two ago, but
I know, I know, but I just found out today, and I'm sad.
Fucking everything has been pushed back, man. Like, I think
it used to be that Christmas was the big time where all the games are coming out. Now it seems to be the months after Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, though. If like there really is,
I can tell you exactly
so you
why
can
that
spend
is.
all your money. So
I mean, I guess,
exactly
but like,
Samuel.
at some point, aren't they going to oversaturate that part? And then what do? Do you go back to before Christmas, or do you keep moving until summer becomes the big
why
thing?
it is. It's nothing that they want to do. They want to release games on Christmas to drive holiday sales. The problem is that they set their goals for Christmas and they realize that they don't have enough time to release on Christmas, so they push it back. It happens so regularly that at that point, January, February, March has become its own season of games.
I mean, that's just funny.
That's
that
what's happening.
Because
It's no one wants to release their games past Christmas. It's just something that happens.
It's just funny that you say that because my understanding of the AAA industry is fuck it, we're putting it out anyway. We'll just patch it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, if anything, that's great that you say that because that means people are still working on the games.
I mean, they'll try to release it as soon as possible. That's you can't if a game is simply just not going to work on Christmas, you can't release it. You just can't.
Oh,
No.
you can. It has happened.
It's
I've
happened.
seen incomplete games be released.
Like
It's called
say
early
which will,
access.
but Activision, but their games don't. And they'll be boring, but they'll never be unfinished.
It's true.
Unless
Early
you're
access.
Destiny, of course.
Oh, it lacks so much content.
Played through and beat Half-Life 2, episode 1 and 2 as well. So I've done that a whole series.
So
That was really
now you
fun.
can do with me and Chris and everyone just being like, "What the fuck? What
Yeah,
happened?"
basically.
Like, I feel like most people have forgotten about the cliffhanger ending because they went halfway through, and then some people were like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because there's a fucking cliffhanger."
Yeah,
at the end.
exactly.
You forgot.
There's a super cliffhanger,
Yeah.
And they even mentioned
a
Aperture
very important,
Science.
yeah, a very important character ends
Yeah.
up dying, and I'm not going to spoil who or how, but yeah, it's someone who's
Shit
very
fucking
important.
goes down like the last minute of that.
Yeah,
It was,
I'm like, whoa.
it was Gordon Freeman's father.
Oh,
Yeah, long lost father.
for some reason that reminded me of Half-Life: Full Life Consequences.
Yes, I love that.
Gordon Freeman's brother. Oh god.
I seem to be really good at killing stuff.
I can't remember any of the lines from that. I just remember the voice that the video was in.
But
How
yeah,
bad the
other
spelling was.
Why
Other
did they
than
make these
all of that-
platforms like this? It's like a fucking death trap.
but yeah, other than all of that, nothing's really been going on.
Seems like Chris mentioned this before he showed up, but it seems like everyone this week has played like a game or two.
Yeah,
Like,
Well,
we've
it
all
was the
been busy.
college season, so we're all busy.
yeah.
Yep.
Although I
I'm
will
going back
admit,
to
like the game,
next
like
semester.
like the game that I was playing, there was quite a bit of content to it that I wanted to try to get through. Although now I finally gotten to the point where it's like I'm fucking sick of this and I don't want to play any more of it.
Like, I know you guys missed it, but for me, I'm like at the very end of Digital Devil Saga 2.
Yep. I got 2 more Dead Rising DLCs till I'm done.
But yeah, so before we close this though, I want to talk about what I thought was one of the funniest damn things was Project Titan from Blizzard got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, for those of you who don't know, Titan was basically their next MMO that Blizzard wanted to do after WoW.
Also, that's news in and of itself. Blizzard was gonna make another MMO.
Yeah, but I think it was, like 7 years they've been talking about this? Like,
Yeah. I while you keep talking, I'm gonna go look at the details because there's a crazy amount of years and a crazy amount of money.
yeah. Like, I think
on it.
I think some of the analysts had said, like, Blizzard fucking pissed away, like, $50 billion in, like, resources and everything to make this thing.
I believe it.
That they just kind of felt like was not going to happen. And I guess that just goes to show that Activision doesn't really have as much of a hold over them as once thought. Although, I think somebody had said that Blizzard was trying to buy themselves back from Activision. I don't remember.
I don't know why they merged in the first place.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't,
because Blizzard wasn't in any dire financial straits. In fact, they were
Yeah.
the exact opposite.
no,
They're
neither,
arguably-
neither was.
I
Neither
wouldn't
was
even say arguably, they are the most successful independent company ever.
Yeah, and like Activision was the same way. I mean, they got the fucking Call of Duty franchise. It's like, what?
Well, I mean, Activision,
Perhaps
it's
it was
like,
to try to
as
get
a publisher,
monopoly.
they could just rack in more money. You
Yeah.
know, with World
Yeah,
of Warcraft.
yeah.
But Blizzard, I don't see what they stood to gain. The
Not
game
really.
was already out. They didn't need any more marketing money or anything.
But yeah, so I mean, Project Titan, they finally just decided. Like, I think it was earlier this week, if not last week, when they finally said, "We're fucking done. It's not going to happen." And I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen because, you know, I've said it before. World of Warcraft was lightning in a bottle. You're not going to do that again. And even they kind of came out and said that, like, whatever Project Titan ends up being, it's not going to be WoW again. Like, they knew that. Everybody knew that. And fucking...
You can't get wowed the second time.
Nope. You certainly can't. And the thing that I thought was the funniest shit was one of the quotes on The Escapist was from one of the dudes that was working on it. He was basically said, like, after World of Warcraft, we thought we knew how to make MMOs, so we set out to do the most ambitious thing we could possibly make. And I'm like, you mean that wasn't World of Warcraft, really? Like, you've already done the most yeah, I'm sorry, Blizzard, but you have already done the most ambitious thing you're going to do.
What many people wouldn't have dared to do
No.
and succeeded.
Yeah.
Especially considering the time they
For
came
a
out.
very
2004.
long time, World of Warcraft was the MMO, and to an extent, it still is.
Like, before that came out, remember when people gave a shit about EverQuest? That was their big competitor?
Yeah.
EverQuest 2
And then
was coming out. How are they going
World
to
of
compete?
Warcraft was so successful that it affected the design of every MMO launched since then.
Pretty much. You are not going to do anything more ambitious than that. I'm sorry, Blizzard, but you have now peaked. You can only go down from here. It's kind of like people...
It's showing because World of Warcraft's numbers have been decreasing steadily. For the
They're
past
not...
couple
Yeah.
years.
they are not going to do an MMO that is better than that. They just are not.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I've had friends that have kind of said, like, don't count them out, because I'm sure they can do some other genre of game very, 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 very well and make everybody really impressed. But it's not going to be an MMO.
They're really good designers and programmers, so I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got some really good talent there. And
As mentioned, they have a very little fan base.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think, when was the last time Blizzard made a new IP? I guess it would be WoW. No, technically even WoW was Warcraft.
No, that was Warcraft.
So
Yeah.
StarCraft or Diablo? One of those two.
From my understanding, Warcraft was one of the first kind of PC franchises that they had, and then came StarCraft, which was interesting because the guys who made StarCraft, I don't think any of them are even around anymore, because they took Warcraft and said, we're going to make it better, and that's how StarCraft happened.
Yeah.
And
you know what? I totally forgot about Hearthstone as far as new IPs, but the point I was going to make was, like, they just don't make that many brand new games. They're a lot about refining what they have.
No, like, I've heard people say that Blizzard are kind of like the Nintendo of the PC world, where they have, like, these mainstay things that they just keep iterating upon.
Yeah. We'll just make a new StarCraft and a new Warcraft.
But at the same time, like,
and
they
a
don't
new Diablo.
They don't iterate upon them as often as people would think. Like, fucking, how long was it between StarCraft 1 and 2?
About a decade.
Yeah,
It was
how long
about a
was
decade
it?
or two.
How long was it between Diablo 2 and 3?
Probably a decade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, around a decade.
Yeah.
I have to
They
look
wait
this up
so
now.
long that people will buy that shit like monsters.
Basically, yeah. And
And in the meantime, they're coasting off their WoW sales
Yep. I mean, they could coast on
because
that
they can
forever.
afford to.
They could probably do that for another 10 years until they actually have some trouble.
Even as WoW is winning, it's still making a shit ton of money.
mm-hmm. I have to look this up now, like what the orders.
Think about all those millions of people and taking $15 from them every month. That's a lot of dough.
It's going to be really interesting to be alive the day that World of Warcraft dies officially.
Well, we're going to witness it in time.
Yeah, it's just going to be really weird when I'm just going to get up one day and read the news and be like, World of Warcraft shut down its last server today, and be like, damn.
Shit, yeah, that's...
And then
like, that was the biggest thing ever.
Your kid's going to go, Daddy, what's World of Warcraft? And you'll feel sad. Because you'll realize at that point that you are truly an old man.
Shit.
Fuck, I'm old. I remember that game came out.
Like, we make fun of a Sharky being old, but at that time, we will probably all be truly, really old men.
Well,
Okay,
basically, by that point, Chris will have completed his transformation into Deckard Cain.
Shh.
He's going to have a long beard and be like, I remember World of Warcraft.
Oh,
Stay a while, listen.
Listen!
Okay, Diablo was 96.
You played Warcraft. I lived it. Born by it. Molded by it.
Oh, you think that will help you? I was born in it.
It's like half Bane, half Darth Vader.
For you, the people.
This is the people's chance for revolution.
I think it's better because Chris has like a bad nose going on right now.
I put my hand over
It
my
sounds
mouth
so
when I did
nasally.
that. Like, I made
Yeah,
sure.
I think the way you sound right now, it makes it even better though. Just
Because you have a
more
point there
nasally
for
sound.
The people. Wow.
Anyway.
Okay, so. Oh wait.
Oh,
hang
wow.
on a second.
Yeah, we're
No,
still
no,
talking
no,
about
no, 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 no. Because I'm trying to find out like when the very first Warcraft game came out.
Oh, this is a while ago. Who's 2D?
probably before I was born.
Like the first, yeah, because Warcraft 2 by itself, like that.
That actually might have been 93. I don't remember correctly.
I
Warcraft
was born
2,
in 93.
It was fucking early.
Shit.
I was born in 93.
Fucking game
So was
rankings.
Yesterday I was.
Warcraft Orcs and Humans came out in 1994.
What off?
Well, yeah.
Damn.
So
That game's old.
Wow,
I know
Warcraft's been a
StarCraft came
franchise
after
for
that.
almost as long as I've been alive.
StarCraft was 98. So the order is
Yeah,
basically
it was
like
late 90s.
yeah. So StarCraft I remember vividly is 98. So
So it was Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft.
yeah, but also I'm trying to look into whenever Lost Vikings came out because that was also them.
Right. They did other stuff. They did something racers or something like
Yeah,
that.
Rock
They
and
did
Roll
a
Racing.
Ridge Racer.
No, Rock and Roll
Yep, they
Racing.
did.
Ridge Racer.
No,
Hey,
shut up.
Need for Speed, right?
No, That. Wow, Lost Vikings was 1993.
Damn.
Why aren't they selling this?
I don't. It's Blizzard.
Like, okay, like, this was their IP, right? I'm pretty sure they still have the rights to it. They have their own digital storefront. Fucking, why don't they sell that? It's not on GOG. It's not on Steam. I would love to play Lost Vikings.
Oh, play Diablo some more. That's what
No,
Blizzard tells you.
fucking. That's the other thing. Why don't they put, like, the old Diablos? Why don't they put original StarCraft on there?
It's so
Well,
weird.
I mean, because they don't have DRM on them. You can't get the always on
They-
DRM for Diablo 2.
But they have their own digital storefront. They can make it to where you have to be there. Like, if they sold it through Battle.net, they could totally do that. Why don't they, though?
DRM, baby, DRM.
Right.
I
That's
don't know.
bullshit, though.
They're weird. I still got my Diablo 2 war chest and none of the keys.
You know what's also bullshit? Shit coming out of a bull's ass.
That's just my thing, though. You have all these idiots, EA, Ubisoft, all these motherfuckers who want to have their own digital store, and it's like, you have a backlog of stuff that I'm sure people want to play, and they never do anything with it. Why the fuck
It's
not?
the exact opposite problem.
Also, with those old games, a lot of licensing is a problem because while they
I'm
own
pretty
the
sure-
property, they might not own, like... Well, in the case of Blizzard, that's not true because they own all of it. But some of the old franchises, like in EA's and Activision and Ubisoft's parts, can be owned by multiple people. Some might not approve of them being on the online store, and therefore it won't be on the store. It's that simple.
Like, I'm
Activision
sure
have anything to do
when it
with
comes to
that
like
putting up.
licensed stuff that they would have done,
Yeah.
but like, there's got to be like some stuff.
even when it
that
comes
they-
to like intellectual properties they might have had in the past and lost.
I don't know. That'd be a good question to ask Blizzard.
yeah,
Like
that would be.
because I remember like a couple of games on GOG they couldn't get it for a long time, even from EA's list of IPs because not because EA didn't want to, but because someone else owned it and EA couldn't approve it without that guy's permission.
I guess I don't know. Although it is kind of funny.
Intellectual property rights are a pain in the ass.
Well, that does kind of remind me of the fact that there's that new Gauntlet game that came out, which I guess is now in the hands of the people who made Magicka, because Midway, back when they went under, fucking 2008, whenever that was, and then sold off their shit.
Yeah.
We know Warner Brothers got Mortal Kombat, and then
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
And Gauntlet was my game back in the day. Like my old friends would come over with a PS2, get the multi-tab, which was still a thing you needed at the time.
Yeah.
And then we would all play 4-player Gauntlet, and it was a really great time.
You guys interested in playing that new Gauntlet?
I haven't, but I hear it's really good.
Yeah.
Because, I'll just buy a copy for all of us. Whatever.
I do want it, although I don't want to put you through that.
It's $60, dude. I don't give a fuck.
The whole buy 4.
If you do, I'll have to pay you back with a game at some point.
I probably would.
Okay.
Although I bought him Bulbasaur
Right now I've got 779, so have fun.
On your wish list, or like...
No, that's the games I have in my library on Steam.
Yeah.
My wish list is 83 games.
You
I
can pick
bought him
something on there.
Yeah. I played it a little bit. The art is very strange, but the gameplay's good.
Yeah.
Well, they took the art from the shitty Gauntlet game that came out a few years
We're talking
back.
about the game you bought me. As terms of
there-
Gauntlet, the only Gauntlet I played was Gauntlet on the PS2. They had like the
Dark
black
Legacy?
chick with the white afro who wore the yellow
Sorceress.
dress. Sure.
Yeah, that was Gauntlet Dark Legacy. That was
Okay.
that was the best of the Gauntlet games.
I
Really?
remember...
That's what I played.
I remember the one that I played, and this was actually like the only one out of the series until I played like the original game when it was on like Xbox Live or whatever. But because I actually had no knowledge of that game, despite my age and everything. I knew nothing about that original Gauntlet arcade machine. But the one that I was introduced to was way back in like the N64 days. They had the fucking I think it was actually called Gauntlet Legends. And it was the straight up like Wizard.
Yeah, I played that.
Yeah, like that was in arcades. It was like super blocky and everything because it was fucking 1996. But still, I remember getting that for my 64 and just being fucking pumped playing that. Like,
Wait, am I seriously the one that knows the most about Gauntlet out of this group?
possibly.
Probably.
I know more about old games than Chargy does for once. This doesn't happen
Well,
very
I
often.
didn't like I said, I didn't play any of the subsequent Gauntlet games afterwards simply because I had no interest in them, or I just didn't know. I think I was still really hooked on the N64.
I'm just saying, this is a very rare moment.
Yeah, I know.
Usually, when it comes to the old games, I'm completely left out.
So do I get to call you an old fucker now? Just
No,
fucking shit on you for your experience? Like,
because I mean, I never played the old Gauntlet. I played the PS1 one. That was my first experience with the series, but I loved that game.
I think. Didn't you say PS2?
I played both. I played the
Okay.
PS1 one first, and
PS1
then I got the
I think
PS2 one
was-
because I loved the PS1 one.
Yeah, the PS1. I think that was like the same game that I played. Just it was also on the N64. Because
It'd be more accurate to say the PS2 version is an extension of the PS1 game.
Yeah.
Because it was generally the same, like, overarching thing, except they added a lot more content to it. A lot more content
Yeah.
to it.
Because like the old ass original like 1980s Gauntlet, I never knew about until it was on like Xbox Live once, and I grabbed it because that. And I think back when like Midway released like those arcade compilations that they had, I also played it on there. So
Yeah, although from what I hear, the new one does take some interesting licenses with the franchise while still maintaining the series core.
there's kind of a good
Which I'm
sense of
totally
humor about
okay
it.
with. You can't just like bring Gauntlet into the new generation. It's a really like old school game, really old school.
Like I said, the people who originally made Magica, they're the ones that did this. And if you play the wizard in the new Gauntlet, that clearly shows
Oh, that was
because
fast, Sam.
Yep. Excuse me.
but yeah, like if you play the wizard in New Gauntlet, he plays like one of the characters in Magica. It's really weird, but it's also kind of cool.
Yeah, like I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this new one holds up to my experiences with the old Gauntlet games, because I did love those games a lot, because that was how I hung out with my friends a lot back in the day. So that's
Yeah.
a very special game for me.
I remember like when I got that on the N64, I bought it specific.
I played it with.
Like I bought it specifically for N64 simply because I didn't need a multi-tap. 64 had 4 controller ports on it, and if I had like friends with controllers, we could all play it. So
Yeah, I had the PS1 version of that game, which unfortunately only lets you play 2 players. Period.
Yeah, because that was all the PS1 could handle.
Oh.
So when I graduated to Dark Legacy with the 4 players, it was a huge step up for me.
Yeah, that's just one of those things where it is good to have like more people with you. Just
It's a game that is beautifully simple, so that like anyone can really like pick it up and learn it within a minute.
yeah. I think with that though,
It's a
we're
really
gonna
good.
find out.
It's a really good party game, and that's not like a mini game collection, but it's like a genuine game that you want to get with a group of people, a group of
Yeah.
friends to play with. That's
Yeah.
the game to play.
absolutely.
Well, good, because I just bought copies. So
Oh shit!
this happened.
Yeah,
Awesome. Garrett, are you still there?
Hey, Garrett, you want to play Gauntlet?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
I don't have it.
I sent you a message. You want to play some? You want to play some Gauntlet?
I had to install it
Right.
first.
Oh man. Although I
I wanted
think
to send you a copy, Garrett, because I didn't
Yeah.
know if you wanted to play it.
sure, why not? But I think
Fuck
we'll
it.
Yeah, I don't own it. It looks really cool.
then you're playing it. You're fucking playing it.
Yeah, join us.
Oh man. I think that'll be a good time to end it so we can play Gauntlet. Because we've gone
We're off to
on
go
long
play
enough.
Gauntlet.
Yeah, why not? That and I have shit to do. I need to shower.
Oh,
All right.
But you should probably go to bed early because you're
Okay.
still sick and you want to recover.
I took a nap earlier today. I'm
Nice
sure I'll be
step on
fine.
that.
And when I want to go to sleep,
that
I'll take
sounds
some NyQuil.
nice. Just-
And
Yeah.
I almost want to get into a tangent of
All right.
how good you fucking sleep after NyQuil, but I don't want to drag this on any longer. Just
No, we really should wrap this
Yep.
up at some point.
Let's talk about drugs.
Let's talk about
remember,
chicks,
folks,
man.
you can ask us questions at thetexturepop@gmail.com.
chicks, man.
That's right. I check it occasionally.
Yes.
And apparently I do now
You
too.
get- I mean, you all
Against my
can. I can
will.
give you the whole thing.
Good night.
Yeah, whatever. You'll whatever.
Or whatever
You'll figure
time
it
of day you're listening to
figure it
this.
out. Yeah.